Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV with your college basketball NCAA tournament preview. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to look at the bracket itself, give you some tips for filling out the bracket strategy. And then if you're joining us after the tournament's tipped off on Thursday, it's not too late to get some great information on Thursdays and Fridays, daytime and nighttime games. I do a public segment every year in the NFL. We're going to talk about some public dogs as well here in the NCAA tournament. So a little mishmash of information for both the bracket and Thursday and Friday's round of 64 games, including some public underdogs right here on Wager Talk TV. Quick reminder, if you want my bracket, it is available right now at wagertalk.com. Normally it's $99. I bumped it down to $25 when I posted it late Tuesday night, but I want to do it even better for all my loyal viewers here on these videos. I'm going to give it to you for $9. We missed out on $9 Monday because I wanted to put extra research and time into the bracket. I didn't want to rush it. And since we got it out here on Wednesday, heading into Thursday, you can still get it for $9. But you got to have promo code MM2022. That's March Madness 2022. MM2022. MM2022 gets my complete bracket, my pick for all 63 games, 9 first-round upsets, and a bonus national title long shot, all for just $9. It's a no-brainer, and it's available right now on my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. But you got to have promo code MM2022. Let's talk about the bracket, and then we'll get to some public dogs on Thursday and Friday in the tournament itself. But just some bracket tips in general. First of all, everyone loves the first round upsets, right? It's always fun to pick them and try to guess which ones are coming. And as I mentioned, I've got 9 upsets in my bracket, which is available right now at wagertalk.com in the first round. But the reality of it is you're not going to win your tournament bracket contest most likely unless you get the Final Four, the finals, and even probably the national champ right. And the reason being is because most of these brackets double the points every round, right? So in the round of 64, an upset pick, you get that 16 over the 1 seed. Good for you. You get 1 point. But if you're wrong on that one and that 1 seed goes to the Final Four, you're missing 4, 8, 16, 32 possible points. It's impossible to win. So you really have to kind of play conservative for the most part. Where you do want to look for first round upsets, and this is what I did with my 9 first round upsets in my bracket, is you want to play against teams. It's not always about playing on teams as sleepers. It's playing against higher seeds that you don't think are going to go far, because if you guess right, you get some bonus points. If you guess wrong, they're going to probably get eliminated in the next round anyway. So what you want to do is you want to try to get your prime national title winning contending teams, is what I did. Narrow it down to those. Look at the road. Look at the possible matchups, pace of play, where some teams might have some problems, where others might have an easier road. With that said, I thought, Gonzaga obviously has a pretty easy road. I thought Arizona got a pretty tough road as maybe the second best team overall in the country. We look at Baylor. I thought theirs was pretty tough. Kansas was maybe barely a 1 seed. I thought Kansas got a very fortunate bracket on their side. So just looking at the 1 seeds, that's how I see it playing out. Another tip I'll give you in the tournament, you want to look for slow down half-court teams. Virginia made that run a couple years ago, won the national title, slow down half-court style with Butler a decade ago when they made back-to-back finals as a lower-seeded team. Those type of teams, Texas Tech a couple years ago when they played Virginia in that final, half-court slowdown teams are always worth a look in the NCAA tournament and in your brackets, and that's where you can find some sneaky upsets, especially against teams that like to play up-tempo. With that said, though, Virginia was a slowdown team, is the only team ever to lose to a 16 because they had an ugly shooting night, and Baltimore County had a hot shooting night. The three-point shot is the great equalizer, and that is what's really changed college basketball the last decade or so. So if you're looking for some upset picks, good three-point shooting teams can win in any given game. They maybe can't win 5 or 6 straight, but they can win 1 or 2 straight. So those are good sleepers also for the Sweet 16. Slow down half-court teams and teams that rely heavily on the three could get hot at the right time. One other thing I'll mention, a good little strategy here. I haven't really given this out public before. I'm going to give it to you on this video. A little sneaky strategy you can use when you're filling out your bracket on Wednesday night and Thursday morning before the deadlines. Think about using the teams that won the play-in games on Tuesday and Wednesday night as the 11 seeds. Now, I'm not talking about those 16-seeded teams, but the 11 seeds are often worth, in the 12 seeds this year, are worth a look on the play-in round because, as you know, when it started with Virginia Commonwealth a decade ago, they made a run to the Final Four. We saw UCLA do it last year from the play-in round. We've seen basically almost every season one of those 11 seeds that wins the play-in game usually goes to at least the Sweet 16, if not further. And people that fill out their bracket early in the week normally don't play them because they don't even know who won that first game. They just take the 6 seed or the 5 seed, and then we know it's a 5-12 game. So think about sometimes sneaking them in. If you don't think their opponent is going to go far, take a flyer with that play-in game winner from Tuesday and Wednesday nights, as a lot of times you're going to get some extra points if they do pull that upset in the round of 64. One final thought on the bracket, and then we'll look at some underdogs on Thursday and Friday, some public dogs, and some thoughts on that. Just some general stats. The committee gets a lot of flack for their seeding, and I do think in recent years the seeds mean less. But if we go all the way back to 1985, there's been 36 tournaments. Now, keep in mind, 2020 we did not have a tournament due to the COVID shutdown. So we've had 36 tournaments with this current format of 64 teams in the bracket. It goes all the way back to 1985, which ironically enough is one of the lower seeds ever to win when Villanova upset Georgetown. I remember that well. I grew up in the D.C. area. Georgetown was a team I watched a ton. Got a dunk ball behind me in the prop section. And Villanova is the 8 seed, pulled off that big upset. But it doesn't happen often. In fact, 31 of the other, 33 of the 32 of the other 35, since Villanova won as an 8 seed over Georgetown, 32 of the other 35 since have been top 3 seeds. It's that simple. So when you're filling out your bracket, it's fun to pick the upsets in the first few rounds like we're talking about. But if you want a chance to win, especially when the points double every round, you basically have to get the Final Four right or even the finals. You got to have a top 3 seed. It's just that simple. And that really eliminates all the other teams. So you're talking about 12 teams that are going to win the tournament this year. It's that simple. 20 of the last 21 have been a top 3 seed, 1, a 2, or 3 seed. And once again, 32 of the last 35 if you take out that Villanova upset. So 1, 2, or 3 seeds better be your national champ if you want a chance to win your bracket. Also, for the most part, at-large teams have done very well. If you're good enough to get in the tournament with an at-large bid, that means you probably had a really good regular season, didn't need to rely on the automatic bid, of course. And what I like about that is normally those teams are a little extra focused because they're coming in off a loss the previous week, which means a couple things. First of all, they have extra rest. They had to play 1 or 2 less games, less wear and tear for no reason. They still got in the tournament. Still a high seed most likely. And also there's motivation. They're not fat and happy after a conference tournament win. And in fact, this has worked very well. The last 7 tournament champs, 6 of the last 7 have been an at-large bid that lost in their conference tournament. So keep that in mind. Top 3 seeds, maybe a team coming off a conference tournament loss as well. It's not an automatic play, but it's something that's been working well here in recent years. Also, as far as the seeding goes, if you look down over the last 36 tournaments, the committee gets it right for the most part. We look at, I got the notes here in front of me. 14s win 15% of the time. 13s beat a 4, 21. 12-5, 35%. 11-6, 38%. 10-7, 40%. And 9s beat 8, 51%. That's the only one where the lower seed has won more times than not over 36 years. That has changed a bit, though, in recent years. And be careful with those overall 36-year numbers because about a decade ago, they went to this new potting system, right, where they seed them, keep them in their regions. I do think the seeds mean a little less now than they did before they had to keep them in the regional areas. And that has played out, actually. In fact, the last 3 tournaments, the 13 seed has beaten the 4 seed straight up in 5 of those 12 games. And in the last 10 years, actually the last 11 years, since 2010, the number 11 seeds have actually won more games than the 6 seed head-to-head. They've gone 23 and 21 straight up against the 6 seed, even though they're only 54 and 90 all time. Once again, the 13 seeds are 5 and 7, even though all time they're just 31 and 113. So you can see seeds definitely mean a little less now than they did in years past. With that said, though, 20 of the last 21 national champs have still been a top 3 seed. Okay, that's a lot of bracket talk for you. Reminder, once again, I do all the work for you on a daily basis with Best Bets. I did it for the bracket as well. My personal bracket, the games I'm using, all 63 games, including my national title pick, a bonus national title long shot, 9 first-round upsets. Everything is available right now on my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. It's normally $99. I discounted it to $25 because we got it up late Tuesday night. But since we missed $9 Monday, I'm going to do it even better for these viewers in this video. MM 2022 gets my complete bracket for just $9. You got to have that promo code MM 2022. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. My complete bracket, all 63 games for just $9. All right, on the way out here, the last couple minutes, just want to quickly talk about public dogs. We have a great NFL video every year, the Fade the Public. It works very well. As you know in that video, I say the public normally plays favorites and they normally play overs. They're going to still probably be playing some overs here in the tournament as far as totals. But one thing is different about March Madness versus all other times of year in basketball or in all sports in general is that the public does come in more on underdogs. And I talked about this in the NFL playoff video I did a couple months ago. We do see a lot more love for public dogs. And I just gave you those numbers, how the 13 seeds and the 11 seeds have been winning a lot of games straight up. Not a surprise they've discounted a lot of these lines. Let's look at that 13 seed South Dakota State, only a 2-point dog against Providence. Now, South Dakota State, the best 3-point shooting team in the nation out of 358 teams, 44.5%. I talked earlier about how a team that can hit threes in a one-and-done scenario can be very dangerous. Providence, meanwhile, out of all 358 teams in the KenPom rankings, the luckiest team this year. That means they won a lot more games than they should have in close, tight, straight-up games. Only a 2-point favorite, but still a 4 seed from a much stronger conference. By the way, the Summit League, where South Dakota State dominated this year, they went 30-4 overall in all games. They've won back-to-back tournaments. Oral Roberts is a 15 seed one recently out of the Summit. So that's a really interesting game to keep an eye on. That's an early game, by the way, at 12:40 Eastern on Thursday. Some other small dogs. Let's look at Wisconsin Colgate. I talk about that luck index once again. Wisconsin was like the third luckiest team to make the NCAA tournament. They're top 10 all season in luck. The most unlucky team out of all 68 to make the tournament was Colgate, and they're matched up against each other. Colgate's a team obviously from a much weaker conference in the Big Ten, but once again, the odds makers had that priced, pretty reasonably, only around 8.5. So you can see here, you're definitely going to get a discount on some of these favorites. And as I said earlier, teams off a loss in their conference tournament as a low seeded, as a decent seed still that's laying single digits. That's been a long-term winning play on the blind for decades. Hasn't worked quite as well in recent years, but we got to keep an eye on these point spreads and see if the odds makers are really starting to discount them too much. Those were a couple games that jumped out to me. As far as overseeded and underseeded teams, I thought Houston as a 5 seed was drastically underseeded. This is a team, if you look at like Ken Pom and Sagergan, are top 4 or top 5 in those power ratings. So they're almost a 1 seed at worst, a high 2 seed, yet they're only a 5. And it hurts you because you got to play tougher games out of the gate. And that's obvious against UAB, who's only an 8.5-point dog against Houston. Houston, I thought, was very underseeded in this tournament. A lot of people felt like Tennessee was. Of course, Tennessee had a nice run last week in the SEC tournament, won that. We'll see if that works against them. It obviously did not get them a better seed. A lot thought they were a 2 seed. In my power ratings, I have them as a 2 seed also. They only got a 3 seed. Yet here again, when I talk about the committee kind of has to do things with the seeding for the regional stuff, this is a perfect example. I thought they got a vastly overseeded Longwood team who's basically never had a winning record until they moved up into Division I a few years ago until now. I was shocked Longwood was a 14 seed. I think they're doing Tennessee a favor, and the point spread indicates that, obviously, with Tennessee being an 18-point favorite as a 3-14 game. And then we just talked about a 4-13 game. Providence only a 2-point favorite. So once again, be careful with the seeding. Point spread is the great indicator of how the value of these teams are. And I do think the odds makers in recent years have had to start to shade the favorites lower because the public likes to come in on underdogs in March Madness. Hey, we're going to be back with some more videos the next few weeks with the tournament as it warrants. If you have any questions, as always, leave me some comments below. I read all the comments. I'd love to answer any questions you have about March Madness, about handicapping the tournament, or about bracket strategy in general. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Almost 100,000 subscribers here on WagerTalk TV. Do your part. Help us get there quicker. Make sure you're subscribed. You get instant alerts if you hit that bell when videos like this are posted real time. And give it a thumbs up if you like the content. Once again, comment below. I love your comments. I appreciate the support. And don't forget, if you want my official bracket, $99 down to $25, we're slashing it down to $9 with promo code MM2022. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. My pick for all 63 games, 9 first-round upsets, a bonus national title long shot for just $9, but you got that promo code MM2022. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out all the other great shows here on Wager Talk. I'll be guest hosting Wager Talk today on Thursday and Friday as the games are live at noon Eastern with Teddy Covers. I'm also doing the college basketball and NBA shows on Thursday and Friday as well at 1:45 and 4:15 Eastern right here on Wager Talk TV. Like, subscribe, comment below, and check back on a daily basis for more great content right here on Wager Talk TV. Enjoy the games. We'll talk again soon.